Hey guys, this is Chris Bolts, and I'm coming in with another video that I thought was similar to the last video I had done where an individual was bad mouthing his employer on TikTok, and then he uh, got fired subsequently because they found out. And I found this TikTok video from Anton Daniels, who titled it "Fired My $500,000 StubHub job. Man talks bad about his employer on the internet. Sub the boss." Now, I'm gonna go ahead and let him go. Let the young man, his name is Carlisle, uh, go ahead and talk and give his situation. But I'm gonna disagree with Anton Daniels on just this title right here. So let me go ahead and let him put his words out. I,
Working at StubHub.
Let me start that over.
I was fired from my $500,000 a year job as a software engineer working at StubHub. And this is my story. I was fired for questioning the culture and the work at the company. I found it difficult to work in StubHub's environment when I would ask for data about why the decisions were being made. I wasn't provided with documentation about why certain decisions were being made. And then I was told, well, do I need to know everything? I can't know everything that's going on at the company. Director also.
Now, let me go ahead and stop it right there. Um, I had at first I started this video, and then I suddenly realized that my microphone wasn't plugged up, so I got to start it all over and everything. But that's fine. That's neither here nor there. Um, when your manager comes to you and says that you don't need to know everything, that should be your indication that maybe you're either A, asking too many questions that are not pertinent to your role, or B, that there might be something within the company environment that is just not jiving with what you are deeming to be ethical or unethical behavior. In either situation, you need to make a choice as to how you're going to handle that. If it's the former, you need to basically buckle down, shut up, and just do your job. If it's the latter, you need to start looking for ways to get out of the company and start working for a company that lines up more with your values. Now, I don't know what StubHub's corporate environment is, and we're just taking his word at this moment, everything like that. My original contention is that it seems like he is a person that asks a lot of questions and doesn't get satisfactory answers, and that leads to him having more questions. And when you have an analytical mind like an engineer, and he appears to have a very analytical mind, and everything has to line up and work correctly, that can get you into a lot of trouble with a lot of different managers and everything like that. Because at the end of the day, managers just want you to do your job. They don't. If you got questions, great. You know, ask them every now and then. But if you're asking them every day, that's a different story. And that's the vibe that I'm picking up here. But let's go ahead and continue.
Also said I could switch teams, which is how I ended up meeting with a data team that manages the data coming into StubHub. When I met with an engineer on the team, we started discussing some of the data, and in particular, I had a question because there was something being brought up about mismatches between events. Essentially, my question was, is it possible for someone to sell a ticket, but the event is not actually happening there? And the engineer said that they didn't know. I also met with the manager of the data team, and I had several questions around how they were handling ticket data, whether or not they were using machine learning models to try to help identify scammers or fake tickets, instead of relying on agents, which could provide an inconsistent customer experience. In addition to this, I asked more consumer protection questions and related to what about the event of a large fake ticket selling scheme. The manager did not answer my question, and he was like, what?
And so we're getting the picture here. Like I mentioned before, a lot of the questions that he's asking are very legitimate questions. Because he wants to protect consumers. He wants to make sure the company is protected. He wants to make sure all these controls are in place to ensure that no type of scandalous behavior is going on. And that's all well and good. But the thing is if he keeps asking questions, you know, and again, like I mentioned before, it seems like he asks a lot of questions that don't get satisfactory responses, which leads to more questions. And me personally, I'm the type of person that if you ask me rapid fire questions or if you keep asking me questions, I'm gonna get frustrated and get angry. And that's a peeve of mine. I know I'm 48. I probably never get rid of it or anything like that. But I can imagine that for a lot of these managers, they have an employee that just constantly keeps asking questions and is never providing any type of resolution or solution to the questions that he's asking. So, and eventually, that's going to make that manager get kind of ornery and start questioning whether or not you are a right fit for the company.
Why are you asking these questions? I also ask questions related to the responsibility if, a seller tries to sell a ticket that they don't have. And in response, the manager said, well, it's basically the seller's responsibility and it's not necessarily the company's responsibility. I wasn't the only one that had concerns over consumer protections. I attended an all-hands meeting where employees were concerned about read-it comments and the negative company perception. I noticed a lot of read-it comments where people were complaining about being scammed. I noticed a lot of comments where people would, try to get a ticket for an event, have booked like flights and hotels, and ended up not actually getting the ticket transferred to them in time. Or StubHub tries to mediate the situation and gives them an alternate ticket, but that ticket is nowhere comparable to the ticket that the consumer actually wanted. A few days later, I had asked questions about these consumer protection related things. I was fired from the company, again with the reason being that I had been questioning the culture and work at the company and that I had wanted to switch teams. Me wanting to switch teams was inquired by my manager and the director about finding a good team fit for me. I was fired from my
All right, so I let him go ahead and put out his entire video right there, and that when you got switched, here's the indication that they were already starting to have a problem with you, young man, when they decided to go ahead and switch you to a new team. That should have been the indicator right there that your current team didn't want to put up with you and your questions, so they transferred you to another team to see if that would help alleviate your in it desire to keep asking questions and getting responses to those questions. So that should have been a context clue to pick that you should have picked up right there. I don't know if you were able to pick that up. You're a pretty smart guy and everything like that, but it seems like it's something that you didn't pick up and everything. When you have all those kinds of questions and everything like that, a better way for you to go ahead and handle that would have been to try to come up with a system that you can show and contribute to the company that will help answer a lot of the questions that you have. That's where you go in there and start doing your own research and you start looking at the data as you're collecting it to come up with a new system to go in there and help address some of the concerns that you have. That it's great that you ask questions, but you also still need to come up with solutions of your own. And when you're getting paid $500,000 for a year at your particular age, you look like to be in his late 20s, early 30s, there's an expectation that you're going to be an independent thinker and an independent problem solver. But if you keep coming and asking questions, eventually your manager's going to be like, well, wait a minute, this isn't the kind of person that we thought was going to be a good fit for this job. And that brings me back to my concern that I had with Anton Daniels' video. And by the way, Make sure you do go give him a subscribe because he is a real good content creator, and this is just a minor quip. It's not anything major or anything like that. He titled his video "Fired from my $500,000 StubHub job. Man talks bad about his employer on the internet. Stood up to boss." I think it's a stretch to say that that he talked bad about his employer and that he stood up to his boss. I don't think that's. I didn't get that from the video that I watched. I think he raised some valid concerns, but when you raise those questions, you do also need to come up with solutions of your own. You can't just keep asking questions to get more questions because then you're going to have a reputation developed around the office. Oh my God, that guy just asked questions. Let's avoid him at all costs. You don't want to be in that situation or anything like that. But I don't think he talked bad about StubHub, although he did put him on blast, putting the name out there. Unless there's another video that he did where he was talking, because it does say part 2. So I'm looking through nice handsome man, and but I don't see any other video off in here. Maybe there is another video that he might have done that but I don't see it. I don't see a video here. So I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm gonna say that he's not talking bad about his employer or anything like that. But it looks like
This is how you're gonna pass your technical interviews in 2020.
Oh, that I thought he might have gotten other interviews, but that looks like it's something completely different. So I'm gonna leave it at that. This video's gone on long enough and everything, but let me know what you think. Do you think that he was talking bad about his employer? Other than, oh goodness gracious, I don't want to watch that. Let me put it back over here on Anton Daniels. Do you think he's talking bad about his employer? Do you think he stood up to his boss? Do you think him asking all those questions was worth him losing his $500,000 job? Let me know down in the comments. Thank you very much for listening to me. This is Chris Bolts, and I will catch you on the next video. You have a good one.